Zane Clodfelter with OttersTV, here with Otters manager Andy McCauley. And Andy, I know just wrapping up the opening series against Southern Illinois, and based on what you've seen in spring training, the exhibitions, and the 3 games to start the year, how would you assess your team's performance so far?
Obviously, you win any series, you got to be happy. Taking 2 out of 3, the offense coming alive a little bit. I know our pitching would be pretty solid. Had a breakdown today, but Austin's Austin. He'll be back on the mound in 5 days. But happy with the outcome, but really exposed a lot of things we need to work on, and that's early season. That's why I don't like opening up at home. But you don't have the choice on that one. You can work the bugs out on the road. But no, happy with the series. Winning 2 out of 3 against a close rival and a good team over there in Southern. So very pleased with it. But we got a lot of work to cover.
Life as a Frontier League manager, how do you tackle the offseason, and what are some of the big key things that you really have to key in and focus on as you kind of get this roster put together?
The off season's tricky because a lot of things happen to this age player in the off season. You get jobs you can't turn down. You get girlfriends that become fiancés, become wives. So you kind of wait to see what their plans are, and I kind of leave it up to them until like December, January in there, and then see who's coming back. But in the meantime, waiting to see who's coming back, you get your list going of if A doesn't come back, then we want B, C, or D. So you got to get your short list. There's not a whole lot of people that will sign or want to sign. The good players kind of wait until spring training is actually underway before they want to make a commitment with the team. And so you have your list, wait to see you come back, and then you just start making your contacts, knowing in the back of your mind that there's going to be some good players released out of organizational spring training towards the end of April, or towards the end of April, beginning of May. So it's tricky because there's time to the 6-year free agent list comes out in October, and you got to be on top of that, and just really keeping a short list, making contacts, reaching out to your network to get the players in the pipeline.
And we've seen so many players come through here under your watch. They've had a lot of success, go on to affiliated baseball. How key is that pipeline and those contacts in order to get those talented players here in Evansville?
It's everything, and it starts with Mr. Bussing. I mean, he is very committed to making this not only a great place to come play as a player, but also know that we'll do everything in our power to get you moved on to affiliated baseball. And numerous times, last year alone was 1 year, but numerous years we've been sent the most players onto affiliated baseball during the season, which is key too. There's a lot of teams that move players in the off season, which does them really no good trying to make a team. But they know that. If you're going to send your closer after the trade deadline, they know you're pretty committed to moving players on. And Alex Phillips was throwing real well in High A and just got moved up to Double A. Yeah. So good for him. And a lot of teams wouldn't have done that, but it's the commitment from the ownership straight through the coaching staff that we want to move players on, and that's what our goal is here. Number one, first and foremost.
This is 25th season of the Evansville Otters franchise. This is your 10th year. I know you've been in other cities and managed other places, but what stands out about Evansville as opposed to the rest, and at least in your experience?
Without a doubt, first and foremost, is the best owner in independent baseball and probably all baseball, and Bill Bussing and the Bussing family. They've made this a very comfortable place for me to come right off the bat, and given me every opportunity and everything I've needed to make this year in, year out a competitive team, and hopefully another championship team for them. And without a doubt, that's number one. I've been, like you said, a lot of places with a lot of different owners, and some better than others, some awful, but without a doubt, the best owner, not only in independent baseball, probably all baseball.
And I will say consistency has, I think, been one of the Otters' biggest strengths since you've arrived. The coaching staff has remained primarily the same the last handful of years, and a lot of familiar faces on the roster this year too.
Yeah, if you remember back, I don't know when you jumped on board, but early years here, there'd only be a handful of guys wanting to come back, and unfortunately they weren't the ones we wanted back. So turnover was a huge problem. Had to do with a lot of the things going on, not only in the front office but in the clubhouse and on the field. And now it's kind of turned the page there. We have our pick of the guys returning, and we get our pick of the guys that we want to come in. So a lot has changed in the front office. Joel Padfield's done a great job as far as getting that done and making the front office. But not just the continuity of my coaching staff, but Joel Padfield and his front office, Elspeth, Urbina, Hack, yourself and Preston included, have all made it that type of professionalism, which allows you to retain the players. year in, year out.
And then just one final thing, as the season progresses, what are going to be some things you're looking for to make sure you guys are on the right track, so once August comes around, you're in a position to get to where you want to be in the playoffs?
Well, players have to buy into what we talk about, and what we've talked about from day one with all my coaches is, our goal is to make the playoffs year in, year out. I mean, that's a given. And then how you attain that is by just day to day having the routine and doing the work. And, I don't have any harder workers than Bobby Siegel and Max Peterson. I mean, they have been Boots Day. I mean, they're out here doing the work, the BP, the early work, the bullpens. So they're doing the work, which makes it easier for the players to follow suit and get the work in. And that's what it is. Just got to, take every day, every at bat, every pitch of every game, and then worry about August, September, as that comes. But right now, it's inane to think about that. We set it as a goal and then we forget it. So, day in, day out, get better than you were the day before. And we had a bad day today, so it shouldn't be too hard being better than today. So, we'll see how it plays out. We get on the bus Tuesday, which is always a good, you have some commuter trips in the spring training period, but to really get on a road trip, live with somebody, see somebody for, that's what brings the team together. So another reason why I like opening up on the road. But, going to Windy City, they have a new manager up there. It's a great place to play. I'm looking forward to see Schmitty as a manager. He's a great pitching coach in the league, so they're going to have a good team. They're certainly going to have some arms and challenges. So hopefully we can stay on task offensively. We have Beardsley is through well for us in the past. Jake Welch, a newcomer, and then we'll flip-flop Randy. Randy will be coming back at Thursday day game up there in Windy City. So I like what we got going. We just got to continue to get better every day.
He's the Otters manager, Andy McCauley, and I'm Zane Clodfelter with OttersTV.